fifth installment of the Let Loose podcast, and we have a lot of topics to go over. We're gonna obviously be starting with Good Morning America and Logan Paul. Obviously, you guys already know. This was Logan Paul's first televised appearance slash of obviously the suicide video, and well, he had a lot of interesting points. And one of the points he said is that he says he's a good guy who made a bad decision. And well, you can say that. I mean, what he did obviously was really, how do you put it? It was disgusting. It was horrendous, and it was something that he shouldn't have done. So yes, I do agree with the statement that although there's a good side in everyone, in my opinion. So with Logan Paul, I mean, he could be a good guy if you just give him a chance, but he did really make a bad decision, so I do agree with that. And another thing that he pointed out is he said it's been, and I quote, "It's been tough because ironically I'm being told to commit suicide myself. Millions of people literally telling me they hate me to go die in a fire, the most horrible and horrific." And so that I say people are being hypocritical because people are saying, "Oh my God, Logan, what you did was wrong. What you did is disgusting. You shouldn't be forgiven." But yet, people are going out of their way to tell him to do exactly what the victim in his video did, but to himself. And again, people are making this worse than it has to be. I mean, it happened. He's apologized. He took his break. He's tried many things to apologize. But I mean, people for some reason they're never complacent. In my opinion, there's a lot of people in this world that are never complacent. They're never happy with the status quo. They're never happy with people's efforts, and that really sucks. That people just don't want to go and just be happy, be complacent with what people are trying to do. Because we're not freaking superheroes. We're not indestructible. We can only do certain things to a certain ability, and Logan's trying to do the best he can. So although what he did was wrong, and it'll take a lot of time to actually be like fully forgiven, you don't go out of your way and tell somebody to kill themselves, because you don't know if that person that you're telling to kill themselves actually wants to. You don't know what a person's going through, so don't go out and be hypocrites here and make yourselves look more of an ass, right? So there you go on that point. In that case, Logan Paul also went on to state the gist of what I'm about to say, basically that he does not make content for kids. He cusses, he makes inappropriate jokes, he does things that kids shouldn't be doing. He says that he did have a point here. He said that in a way, it's sort of parents' fault for not monitoring what their kids are watching. And that's one of the main points that people took away from this whole thing, is that Logan Paul made a point that many people have been making, that parents need to do better monitoring of what their kids are watching. I think Logan is completely correct with that statement, because, I mean, what is basically the entirety of Logan and Jake Paul's fan base? Children. What are they being exploited to? Adult content. So Logan Paul is absolutely correct. What parents are part of the reason why this got big, just because they didn't monitor. And then I don't know if they are monitoring to this day, like what their kids are watching, and that really does have an effect on children if you do not monitor what they are watching. So again, Logan is correct on that point. My overall take on this whole thing is, Logan Paul, he's still trying to understand. He's still trying to understand the complexity of what he did. He's still trying to understand how big this was, and I think he does. But again, I mean, there was a lot of issues now, because it's becoming a thing where it's now Logan just does not. I don't know if he gets it. So with Logan, I mean, gotta give him a chance. We all should. I mean, we shouldn't go tell him to kill himself, obviously. We shouldn't wish death upon people unless they really deserve it. And Logan, you better learn. I just hope you learn And yeah, man, just best friend. Coming up next is another Donald Trump topic. He did his state, I think it's called the State of the Union address a couple of days ago, and I don't want to, I'm not gonna even quote what he said because, quite frankly, we already know everything that comes out of his mouth is bullshit. I mean, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, our leader doesn't even know what he's doing. So, when we voted for president, we're supposed to vote for somebody who understands how to run a country, understands what needs to be done to improve the country, and all this other stuff, right? Businessmen and businesswomen don't. You wanna know why? It's in the title, business. They need business. What is business mainly about? Money. So why do you think people like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, businessmen and women, ran for president? They want the money. We do not need to live in the world thinking that the more rich you are, the more you understand, because that is not the case. That is not the case with that. Just because you're wealthy, just because you're poor, that doesn't affect your understanding. If you're rich or you're poor, that doesn't affect your understanding of about how to run a country. If I was like the richest, if I was Bill Gates, does that mean I'm gonna go ahead and start running for president? No, because you shouldn't run for president if you don't understand how. Then why? Rip, you're damn right. So don't be blinded by presidential campaigns because they're just trying to get your vote. Always choose the person who you know really wants to do good to this country. And Trump's address, man, we just need to give that a moment, because that address, man, if there was ever a speech that Donald Trump has made since becoming president that made him look even less of knowing what he's doing, it would have been this one. Because in this whole thing, it looked like he didn't even know a single thing that was coming out of his mouth. So, Trump, man, listen, you're my leader, you're my president. I need to try and give you a chance. But out of all the chances I've given you, there's only so many chances you can give somebody. You need to do better. You need to understand where this country is going, what's wrong with this country, and how to make it better. Because right now you're throwing yourself into deep water that you don't even know you're getting yourself into. You don't even know the danger of you being stupid, of your flaws. You don't understand how that's putting the country in danger, Trump. Learn, and do better, Trump. We need that. If you're going to be our leader, you need to understand more. Please. So yeah, Trump, just no more. You need to, or else this country is doomed. This country will be doomed. I had like a couple of other topics. I just literally forgot them. Oh, Mark Salling. Mark Salling committed suicide on January 30th, 2018. Of course, if you guys don't know him, he was a star in the TV show Glee. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what Glee is. However, you know how after this whole Logan Paul scandal, how we've been like, oh, if you're dealing with mental illness or suicidal thoughts, here's a number that you need to call for help. Yeah, Mark Salling couldn't do that. You know why? Because before he died, he was accused of two big things. I believe in 2013 or 2015, he was accused of sexually assaulting a woman. But bigger than that, he was arrested and charged with possession of child pornography, and he pleaded guilty. And since he pleaded guilty, that took away. Originally, his sentence would have been 20 years. It took him down to 47. But still, I'm assuming that everybody that was associated with Mark would have wanted to distance themselves over the situation, because they didn't want to be associated with somebody who did something this big. So really, I mean, there was nobody to that could help him. So my thing is, always be careful what you do, because when you want people, they won't be there for you. And what really makes me sad is that there's a world today where we have people that just they'll do things and then they need help and they need support, but because of what they've done, they won't be able to get it. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Be careful. Mark your choices in life, because when you need people, they won't be there for you. And that's a good example, because what he did made people want to distance themselves from him, and it basically cost him the help and support that he needed during this time. And I mean, my condolences go out to his family. What he did was unforgivable, and I do believe that had he not done that, his sentence was exactly understandable. So yeah, man, I mean, just be careful with what you do in your life, because you'll want support, and when you need it, you won't get it. So, my thoughts on that. You can talk about Logan Paul's interview on I just did. I talked about that in the first couple minutes. I literally talked about the first couple minutes of the podcast. So, I mean, alright, let's do this. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. We're going to talk about the WWE. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, which was this past Sunday. And it was a really good event. I loved it. Awesome event, the Royal Rumble on Sunday. The men's Royal Rumble was the best Royal Rumble I've seen in a long time. What else? The women's Royal Rumble was great. I loved the women's Royal Rumble. I liked the 2-on-1 handicap match for the WWE title. So all in all, it was a great show. Ronda Rousey's debut was awesome. We'll get to that in a moment. But the men's Royal Rumble was really good. Capped off by, obviously we had the Almas and Gargano 5-star match, which is absolutely amazing. I love that match. Want to play Overwatch after stream since Fortnite's down? No. So, I mean, Derek, I would, but I'm going to record, so. I mean, it was a good event, but the thing with Ronda Rousey's debut is it could have been handled better. It was good, though. I like that they did that, because it brought more attention to the show, which is ultimately what you want out of a wrestling show. So, great on them. Congrats to Ronda Rousey. I know she's been a big fan of it her whole life. And, I mean, congrats to her. She looked very, very depressed after her losses to Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes. So good for her that she found her happiness and she found her peace. So yeah, I give her condolences for that. I hope she brings more. The match in general, the men's Royal Rumble was awesome. Love that Nakamura won the title, and won the Royal Rumble. It was great. The match was full of great moments, surprise entrance, and all that other stuff. It was awesome. I loved it. As for Ronda Rousey's debut, I mean, could have been handled a lot better. I don't know if they should have maybe done that, but the thing was, it took away the spotlight from Asuka, and they wanted her in the WWE WrestleMania. Alright, bye Derek. And so they couldn't have her lose. But I mean, all in all, it was good. I feel as if they could have done way more. But there's always that. Obviously, we have a YouTube related topic with the KSI Joe Weller fight tomorrow in London. It's a boxing match, and I tell you right now, Joe Weller is going to beat KSI in the 5th or 6th round. I tell you, is going to be the defeat for KSI. I just believe that Joe Weller's been training more. He's been taking this more seriously, and he's been putting in the work day in and day out, and I think that he can pull it off in the 5th or 6th. I'm not trying to knock on KSI or anything. I just think that he's too overconfident. He just hasn't put in too much work for it, and I think that Joe Weller's going to finish him off in the 5th or 6th round via knockout. There better be some blood. I can tell you there's going to be some blood. I can tell you there's going to be some blood. But yeah, so Joe Weller wins 5th or 6th round. And, yeah. I know this has been very brief, but my sister's sleeping because he doesn't feel well, so I kind of need to keep this one brief. Those are the main topics. Trump was Logan Paul. I mean, I don't know what else to say about Logan Paul. Besides, man, you have to try and do better. For our sake, do better. So yeah. So yeah, guys, so that's gonna be the end of the Let Loose podcast. I know it was very, very short, but I mean, I just wanted to quickly talk about it. And plus, it would have been longer, but my sister's sleeping and I don't want to wake her up. So, thank you guys for joining. I'll catch you guys maybe later. The servers get back up, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.